We have gone, we have come. What bad?
Okay, welcome to another episode of Life Diary Podcast with Debs and Fire. Is the budget man a bad person?
Are you playing the right game to wealth?
Yeah.
Sorry, English. You also come on, Lori.
See your cheeks. Stop greeting people with that, by the way.
That's boost.
Is somebody listening? This word is for you.
Hello, beautiful people. You're
Hi.
welcome to Life Diary Podcast with Debs and
Fire.
Bum.
You like it that way, Abby? I'm not voice shaming you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very good.
Okuru.
All right,
Okuru.
all right. Welcome, guys. It's
Welcome.
good to have you guys back again.
Yes, boo.
Right now, as I'm speaking to you people, you choke, and I'm tired. I am tired, but
Man.
yes. But
How's your day
it
been,
is
though?
what it is. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
right? So,
It's been...
how has the season been for you so far? You guys can drop it in the comments and let us know. Debs, what do you think about this season?
It's been an interesting one. We've had a couple of people,
Okay.
and then, the year is rolling out.
Yeah.
So, it's been a good one. It's been a good one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
guys.
so much, guys. We celebrate
By the way,
you.
right. This is just me passing side notes.
Okay.
I've started listening to some really good podcasts.
True.
And I've been liking them, right? So I don't know.
True.
I can say them. I really don't care. So I've been listening to my sisters more frequently.
To my
And
sisters.
I found one recently, the Anduba podcast. And
Okay, what's
it's
it
more
about?
faith and a couple of things in between. Even to my
Interesting.
sisters, they still back everything. I feel like they relate more to what we talk about.
About,
right?
okay.
And how
God
they
and
also
lifestyle.
back it up with faith and the like. So I've been listening
Okay.
to them. It's been good. So sorry to
My own podcast too. I've been listening to.
Yes, so do you know
I
there
look
was
cool,
a
but-
particular time I just went back to just go and listen to our podcast episode.
I
and
do
I'm
that.
like,
I always enjoy
we be
it though.
dropping gems,
We do.
We
We do big. We
We're
do
steadily
big.
dropping gems.
Dropping germs, fam. We do.
Yeah, today's episode we're talking about woman
Evolve.
Yeah. I feel like we can't talk about this podcast without giving what's the word accolades to SJR.
Sarah Jake Rob.
Bruh, I'm sure you guys saw the
mantle passing
mantle.
ceremony.
Oh Lord.
That was some intense
I was
moments.
like, excuse me?
That was intense.
That was and I think I don't know how to explain it. I think when you also understand that a lot of times when you see people at their fulfilled stage in quotes, I totally feel that we don't actually get completely fulfilled.
Yeah, until we die,
But you keep fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Yeah, a lot of people will see a story and literally don't know the improvements, don't know the things that she had to go through and the like. So I feel like everyone has a story, right? And
Yeah.
that's what causes us to evolve. It's not like we can't talk about men evolving as well. You guys
But
don't
we can relate to our journey, bro.
Yes, but we are women and we can relate to our own journey and our journeys rather. So yes, welcome to the Woman Evolve podcast. And I really want in this episode, Debs, I want to talk about the fact that you and I were both firstborn daughters, and how that has also transcended into how we relate in the space of being women. I feel like a lot of times you take things off just being a first child.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're not even being a firstborn daughter, and now you now put it into how you handle other things in life.
Yeah.
So I want it to be one of the things we talk about.
Wow.
Just side passenger.
Wow.
So, what do you have for us today?
This conversation is actually one we are living out, and
Yeah.
we live it out every day. But there are times, and you and I have had some conversations about this, off camera, off air rather, that how we have grown.
Yeah.
In fact, how we have evolved through some seasons.
Yes.
Through a waiting season where we felt that we couldn't be stretched any further,
Yeah.
and then the situation, like God uses that situation to literally stretch us further.
Yeah.
And then we become different people. And like, I mean, different people. Like, imagine that something that used to trigger you, that used to make you feel maybe impatient, our empathy is deepened at the end of the day. That's just what I'm trying to say. So I'm learning this season that, evolving is the only way. And then it is a beauty in itself, like first to yourself and then to people around you.
Yeah.
So in a way, we feel like, oh, we shouldn't change, but we should change. And I think that would speak to values. Your values might not necessarily change in that sense because they're like a building block of sorts. But your growth, you have to, yes, you are fine-tuned. You become a better version of yourself. Like, I feel like this season I'm understanding more what becoming a better version of yourself is, because first it has to do with weeding out stuff, weeding out mindsets, weeding out cycles and patterns, like sitting down to even know that, oh, what am I hurting from? What is my dysfunction? Where am I inviting God to come in through to literally, take over? So I feel like those are the things we would have to do first, like unearthing. And before we even start about this conversation, my bad, I've not read Woman Evolve. I've only read like reviews here and there, but we're speaking more to I'm just saying, because if people say there's that first mindset that we might want to talk about the book and stuff, but it's just something. I feel like evolving is first a gift to yourself. I am understanding that evolving is first a gift to yourself and then benefit to other people. Yes, no, it's because of that gift. Because I used to tell somebody like, I'm grateful for the gift of you. That's why I laughed. Yeah,
I think like for the past few years, like after graduating till date, one of the, like different things have happened in my life. And some of the things that I've had to do was, when things happen, some things you hide them, not necessarily hide them, like you conceal. That is the word. Like you just
conceal the word.
I don't know how to explain. Like you just throw it. When you have exactly. And you try to
block
push it down.
Yes.
That's what you do, and you just cover it up with like certain things and just
masks, coping mechanisms, and the likes.
A proper coping mechanism. I mean, one of my coping mechanisms is work. No more. I think I also need to, so that nobody will think I'm a workaholic, right? Because is from night once.
Fire salad is soft life, babe.
But yeah, like it's one of the things I know that I strongly put so much in, that if I know that, oh, I'm going through a couple of things, that is like my first
your distraction
call. Like, let me get myself so busy and everything. I remember one time I was talking to somebody, I saw a tweet, and the tweet said, that was what that not everyone can handle being with a partner, because a partner literally mirrors everything. Are you ready to hear a partner tell you that you are lazy?
Give you like review.
Like, do you understand? Like, you are lazy, you don't do things well.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do that. That it's quite a lot to take in.
True.
Let's not be honest. And I said that that's literally one of my greatest fears as a person. The fact that I'm literally always after growth, because I believe that's like growth is beautiful and extremely painful at the same time. We can't lie about it. Oman Junior, you know some things. I had a conversation with Debs one time, and I think what I told her was that there was a time I was having like my usual. The time I was having my usual my usual stuff with. What we got, like, cause me, I believe what made me start listening to the Anduba podcast was how you deal with disappointment with God, right? And I remember that time I was speaking to God, and I was like, is it every time I will wait? Like, you know when you get to that point, and I'm like, is it every time I have to wait? That sometimes like why is it that you are every time, like, I can't, like that day, even me God, like I screamed my Bible study this thing, right? We're reading Job. And you know the way people portray Job, right? Like, it's so funny.
He ranted, bro.
It's so funny how, like, I knew the story of Job, but I never read the book of Job, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny how a lot of people make it seem like Job did not rant. he accepted everything. Like
Chapters of lamentation.
like what was for
Baba
Baba,
lamented though.
even to his friends was giving them one by one. Like even to his friends was giving them one by one and the like. So like imagine all of that happening. And no, that time like I was like, Baba God, like what's in this up? Is it every time? Like sometimes like I've asked for this thing and I know that it's something you want for me. Why is it that you're now having to let me like wait? But I realize that in the process of all of these things you learn and you develop character.
To even handle
is
it.
so important. See, a lot of breaking down, like things you have to sit down and like break down and you're like, okay, cause things we exhibit, they come from traumas, right? So with that being traumas, you would need to sit down and learn, like you from it, and understand that okay, baby girl, this is the past. You gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go.
Deal with it and let it go and learn from it. It's easier said than done though.
True.
So even me that I'm saying it is easier said than done. So
okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something like for us to also discuss about like do we ever get rid of fears?
No. I think
does fear
constant thing.
become something we overcome like forever and ever at a point in life, or there's a new kind of fear?
I think it's actually good to be afraid, right?
Okay.
Because I feel like when you're afraid, you know that you're doing something good. I don't know how to explain it. Like in terms of like that it's bigger than you. Or sometimes it might not be bigger than you. It might actually be something that is small. But the fact that you're afraid means that this thing, like I see something in it, right? And a lot of times fear comes from a place of belittlement.
Yeah.
You belittle yourself and you feel like more shame me if you do like do you understand? I'm just coming from a different point of view. We also have the fear of failure. We have fear of
fear of
thinking
success.
you are not enough. We even have fear of success. Like there are times I feel like, okay, what if I do this thing and I blow?
And then you're disappointed. Like people, you don't have the capacity to handle it.
There is also
I'm always having that
and everything. There's that and that happens. Like it is clear. Maybe my own mechanism to fear. I know that everybody has different mantras, right?
Okay.
But mine is the Bible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, what did I say? I'm sorry. Mine is the Bible, right?
No,
so, what's the word? So, it's something that keeps me in check.
Okay.
Like the promises that God has given me. Like, you enter certain seasons and different things happen down the line. And one of the things that will hold you, even with the fears and everything, right, you will pull through.
Sure.
Psalm 23 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. It did not say you will not walk through. You will definitely walk through, right? But one of the things holding you is that you have no fear. You are going to get there. And I think that's the beautiful thing with growth, right? It is not, you can't time growth. Growth is continuous.
RT.
You keep growing. Like
RT.
It is continuous.
RT.
You can't be doing balabolo. Like see, and one of the funniest things I've learned is that what you refuse to learn, you will learn it in an expensive way.
In life, there's no carryover.
In
this journey,
you will learn it in an expensive way.
There's no
carryover. People, I'm not the most patient person. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm really not the most patient person. But God has taught me patience. Like, situations in life has taught me patience, right? Mm-hmm. And I even see myself in certain seasons and in certain areas of my life. And I'm like, when you're looking at things and you're like, oh, things are going on fine. Like, you're able to do certain things, do this, do this, do that. But you then realize that there's a reason why you're there. Yeah. So while you are there, don't now be looking outside, right? Try to figure out why you are currently in that
where
season.
You are.
And from being currently in that season, pick what you strongly feel that you're supposed to work on. Because I think some things are pretty much glaring, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're in an office space. Where, I know I'm the type of person that I strongly believe if a place is stressing you, leave, right? Okay. But I also know that if, let's say for example now, you want to be a CEO of a company, right? And you have a boss that you can't necessarily manage so well. Maybe at that point in life, God is teaching you management, because as a CEO, you need to manage the board of the organization.
True.
Right? So you see that there are steps.
Well, you
See,
like their money, but you don't like their faces.
exactly.
And they can't get out of your
and
face.
I'm not saying that that you should not leave that place until like you're sexually harassed or something.
Nah,
I'm not talking about extremity, but I also know that there's a place that laziness is not good, right? Don't confuse laziness with mental health. See, there are two different streams. You learn. See,
So-
you grind.
Babes, that mental health you spoke about, I have a Bible situation that came to me that it's funny how you can experience like a mental low in a situation, in a place, in a setting, and you still haven't had the release to leave.
Yes, I agree.
You remember the story of Abraham and Sarah and the house girl and her guy, where she left the first time and God told her to go back.
Yeah. That's to show you how much, like, there are things you learn.
Fam.
See, certain situations I've learned in life that these are things that at the end of the day, they contribute to us evolving and growing.
Yeah.
It's not, see, your story isn't just a one night success or something.
Overnight, sir.
It's like, you know, when you're pouring droplets of water into a bucket, at some point, cool.
True.
Do you understand? And when it gets full, that is when you've died. I'm sorry, dear, but that is life. You keep dropping droplets. And I feel like we can't talk about this episode without going spiritual.
It's a part of the walk.
Yes.
It's part of the evolving.
Especially because this is involving us, right?
Yeah.
So, and
we're not talking about other people.
And our growth is also, it has been driven by faith.
True.
So one of the things I also know is that by their fruits you shall know them. And developing fruits is not easy. Do you know what it means for you to develop kindness? Like patience, self-control. Do you know that self-control? Mo fẹ́ búyàn lójú títì pé ìwọ ò mọ bí ó ṣe máa ń wa mọ́tò àbí. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? But there was a day that day, like, I kept on driving, and I was just angry. Like, you know when you're angry, like, I think when I parked at the bank, I calmed and I said, God, I don't know where this anger is coming from. Like, and anger is a wasteful emotion. Like, what is happening this morning? Because I was just thinking that the rate at which the anger was going, I was like, Ewolele, that was happening.
You literally know that you are gradually being taken over, right?
I say what's happening.
By that emotion.
I don't want this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, like, I kept on telling myself that, and that's to just let you see that the fruits of the spirit, right, you develop them along the line.
It's painful. I think, like you said, it is painful birthing fruits.
Yes.
It's just like a pregnant woman birthing a baby. It's you know, it's a fruit. The baby is a fruit in that sense. So it's like, and like you said, you know, when you talked about how you're like, would I have to wait for everything? Like, you're telling God, it's because he's trying to birth that fruit.
Yes.
Of patience. And the funny thing, so, you know, there was a part you were talking about, like a part of your life, if I understood you clearly, where you know that, you are trying to learn something.
Yeah.
The way God has positioned our lives, he positioned it in a way that, and it was something I learned later, because I used to think that because God did not answer my prayer in a particular way, I won't trust him to answer prayer in the other ways. Like, if he's not answering my prayer about this, or like, I want a job, and then he's not answering my prayer, like, I'm not getting the job, you know, that's how we know God is not answering my prayer. It's when you take a deeper walk that you hear that,
that.
You know, when you read his word and it's like an answer to your prayer, that's like answer to your prayer before it even manifests. But the ideal man without faith, a doubting Thomas only knows an answered prayer when it is evidence, you know, where there is an evidence, physical evidence. So I used to feel like, because he didn't give me a job, then if I ask you for a husband, you won't give me.
Not give
or if I ask you for this, you won't. But I realize again that, you know, you are waiting for an answer in this area of your life, but this other part of your life is working. Yeah. Is working well. So it's like, and then there are times that it's actually an all-time low. Yeah. Like, it looks like nothing is happening.
Yep. There was something that Deb told me one day. The illustration is still vivid in my head, because we're in the kitchen when we had that conversation. Said that you've made a prayer, right? That God do this. And she used the tap as an example. She said that, let's say you said it and it was answered immediately. God blocked the pipe. So water is not going to enter that pipe again. But the remaining water that
You're
that
still
are
seeing.
gone is coming out. But at the end of
and
the
you
day,
think your prayers have been
must
answered.
stop.
Like
Hey,
that
that
word.
day.
No. It's
Revelation
mad.
to gba.
Remo. You know, visualization has helped me get through some
Yeah.
hard moments.
I
Like,
agree.
you know, when you be like, you're praying to God about a situation and it's looking like nothing's happening. Like, but you don't know if He shows you the back end as per back end developer things, you will realize that things are already happening
Yes.
on the inside, but it has not shown. It has not
been
communicated to
visualized.
the full screen.
Yes.
You know, like when pastor is calling all these words to media, like, oh yeah, I'll put Corinthians, but you're not seeing Corinthians. But Baba don't press Corinthians for inside the
It's crazy,
inside the
because
studio and stuff.
Growth is painful.
Growth is painful.
Very painful.
And then there is no life if you don't grow.
Yeah, there isn't. There is not.
There is no life
that's
if
why
you
I
don't
look
grow.
at
So
mindset of people, right? Because I'm somebody that I accommodate mindsets of different people.
Yeah.
Right. And even we're accommodating the mindset of the different people, one of the key things I look for in people are their values.
Okay.
Right? Because I believe that people change.
Sure.
The change is likely not going to come from me. But one thing for sure that I know I might be contributing to the change is that I'm planting seeds in you.
Okay.
Because one way or the other, you pick up good traits. Same way you pick up bad traits.
Yeah.
See,
We're in an ecosystem. I don't think
ecosystem.
I don't think you exist in isolation. Like
You
I don't
can't.
to a large extent, yeah, you can move with someone, but there's no how.
Why is it
Virtue
that
they will
you
rub
realize,
off on you.
Why is it that you realize that there are some things you begin to say and you're like, Ibo ni mo ti gbọ́ yẹn.
Ibo lo ti pick her up.
Do you understand? It's probably
Association.
Because it's association. So, like, but one of the things that has always guided me with even with different mindsets of people that I have all around me is that they still my inner circle.
That's where I wanted to talk
And
about.
it's that my inner circle that contributes majorly.
Like that's like
to my
your
evolving.
90%.
90%. They contribute a lot because these are structures that I've now built. That, let's say, for example, now I miss a prayer.
Okay.
Right? And I've told this my friends that I'm trying to improve on my prayer life. And I miss a prayer. First time, you miss it. Second time, you miss it. Third time, you miss it. Oh my family meeting.
How far you?
That was happening.
How far
excuse
you?
me. Because you've taken people that they are accountable to what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you guys have the same belief system.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier for you to submit. That is it.
And I remember, that time
In submission.
I was also MIA, and then you were like calling me to order. But I felt like you were a bit harsh. But when I saw your heart, when I saw what you were trying to, is it invoking me that see, and it's the same thing we were saying, like, yes, we know that this part of your life is going on.
Yeah.
But this other part of your life should not die.
Yes.
Because this part of, so you need to learn to juggle both.
Yes.
So it's just like, so someone else, I'm sure if I was someone else, you'd have just been looking at me.
You'll be okay.
And I think you were even in that space for a bit, like you were looking at me. I just say, fam.
I can't take it no more.
And Fayo's level of pettiness. Fayo can drag you on Twitter. I think that day she dragged me on Twitter. She just said something like, and she'll put her eyes still and say, what's going on here? What's going on here? Fayo will start with pettiness first before she gives you bam. She'll first be giving you small way. But Bawa get if you don't get the
I
vibe.
personally think I'm even growing with my delivery.
It's still the same thing.
Because you know the way when people say I'm blunt, right?
Do you know that was the same scenario that came to my head?
You know the way people say, like, literally, I'm blunt.
I say it as it is.
I say it as it is, right? Then I don't think you understand empathy. Because there are certain things that people go through that if you don't wear those shoes, you can't feel it, no matter what. Like, you can't see, mo ibi to ti n jo labe. Like, you don't know where the fire is burning. Like, you don't know. So until you get there, so that's why I try my best not to belittle what people are going through. Because I can handle it does not mean that person can handle it, right? So whenever, like,
see that video of that girl that we watched that day, that she was waxing.
Yes, as in, like,
and she
whoop, and she whistled. Like, bro,
that level of pain.
Bro,
Someone else has scattered the building with noise.
Honestly, like, so do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think this is really where, like, growth contributes into, and even there are so many things, right, that
Yeah,
I
that
feel
evolving
really
does to us.
contributes into our growth as women. Because now I'm talking about women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Phases of our
I
lives.
don't know. I don't know the reality of a man. Let me be honest,
Because you're not a man.
because there is little to nothing. I said, yeah, that's it. That I can understand, right? That's why when men say certain things and they're like, oh, they feel they should be the providers, I can try my best to explain to you why you shouldn't feel that way. But at the end of the day, I
It's
don't
not
want
your
your
reality.
shoes. Do you understand? I don't want your shoes. Remember when I was having the conversation with you about how I don't want a large income gap
Yeah.
between the person I'm dating, and that should be a separate episode.
That's a separate episode,
So
actually.
let us not delve
into that, yeah.
But
True.
yeah, that's a separate
Yeah,
episode.
so when you were talking about evolving as regards women,
Yeah.
I think that God has programmed life
yeah,
to teach us virtues at different stages.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who is looking to be married,
Yeah.
or who is looking to have children,
yeah.
there are some virtues. There are
That
some.
you would need
There are
to
some.
have.
There is a person you will become
Yeah.
when you become a mom.
Yeah.
There's a person you will become when you become a wife.
Yeah.
There is a person you will become when your parents are in their 70s or 60s.
And there's who you are.
Yeah, there's who you are. Like, you are becoming those things.
Yeah.
It's like a cumulative score at the end of the day. So you just realize that you are more empathetic.
Yeah.
You see people's... I'm just trying to say, like...
Why do you see old women that they don't care so much about certain things anymore? Like
They've
they are
seen it all.
they've seen it all. Like they are not.
And then they are
not
calmer.
bothered. Yes.
A lot of them are calmer.
Yes, when I see those ones that have agbára, I used to look at them like, no shame, man. Like, I can't see like
A lot of them are calmer.
Like, bruh, calm down. So I feel life itself is beautiful and amazing. A lot of things we go through them. You know, we can talk about these things, but when you are in that season, right? I'm sorry, guys. I feel like my laugh probably just blocked your ears now. I'm sorry. But like when you're in that season, and all, like it's not rosy. It's really not rosy. See, life in itself, sometimes.
This episode is brought to you by Filmstreak. Filmstreak is a media production company with a focus on post-production, and that includes video editing, motion graphics, and visual designs. So if you are a business in need of content and brand building, Filmstreak is your guy, and you can reach out to them via IG, Instagram. That's Film, and Streak is spelled STRIK. Same on Facebook at Filmstreak. And you can reach out to them via their phone numbers 081 470 11102 and plus 130 321 98451. Thank you to Filmstreak for sponsoring this episode. Big ups to you guys.
Do you know, there was a particular time that I was really expectant. At some point, I started living my life. Like I didn't let
That particular
need, right, now be my, when that's the only thing my life is all about. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't even like stress in this life. I can't lie. I'm serious. Like when I start getting into that space of this thing, I will open my laptop and watch a movie. I won't even stress. Like I won't. If it's to cry, I will open my eyes, cry. When I'm done, watch movie.
I'm learning to shut that part of my life, man.
Because when things are beyond your control, right?
What can you do? Yeah.
What can you do?
I've stopped in recent times. I've stopped overthinking.
Yeah.
Overthinking
Oh
was something
Lord.
I used to do. Like I think of scenarios. I think of it, and then
mad crazy.
You know that it's crazy. Like
It's
it
mad
can like
and
when
it's a stealer of joy.
it's like virtual reality actually.
It's a
Someone
stealer
who
of joy.
is on that chair,
Yeah.
and they're screaming. And there's no harm coming near you, but they are already trapped in a world of their own, where it looks like they are falling down 100 feet. So that's how overthinking, I feel like it steals the joy of the moment. And even if something would eventually happen, because you have thought of all the ways, it just allows you to think that, oh, you're right all along. A lot of times say, oh, you're right all along, but one thing I have noticed is that because you have thought of all the scenarios, so what's the next thing to do? And then I wanted to, moving on from overthinking, you know, one of the things like you touched briefly on that helps us evolve, like you said, that might stop an overthinking for me is community.
Yeah, I agree.
And that was, you know, when you talked about the old women, I think there was even a part in the Bible where they talked about how old women are mentoring younger women, you know, on how to be or whatever. So, you know, it's like someone has walked that route before and they are seeing you and they're like,
make it easier for you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, see, oh, this thing you're doing, don't worry, it's not hard. Keep grinding, but in the end, you'll be better off for you. It will look like you're passing through the shadow of a valley of shadow of death and stuff, but there is a crowd of witnesses that have gone through that road before, and that's, I feel like our community, like you said, your friendships and you know, our community is filled up with our peers and then people who are more experienced, and that's why we can't thrive on new knowledge alone.
And also isolation.
Yes, and on isolation.
What
like
you said, this new knowledge thing is very true.
Yes, we can't thrive on new knowledge alone.
Work on past questions.
Yes.
See, we can't lie to ourselves.
We have data is like, it's a recycle. Data is information. Then that present information is data for another information. So you can't just take one without history. And
that's
you
why
know,
they say that history is bound to repeat itself again
when you don't learn your patterns. So I feel like one of the things that helps us, you know, evolve is community.
Yes, please don't disregard community. The rate at which I say this thing, I don't think people even really understand how important community is.
It is important everywhere, and we have seen nations that are suffering because they don't have community in that sense. Because, you know, it looks like, oh, our generation is throwing away the idea of community because of a past mistake or a past error that the previous generation went to. Yes, I was like, sanitize community.
Are not the problem. The people
are the problem. Yes,
I think
you're
from
right.
the moment when people can differentiate those two things, life becomes easier.
It becomes easier. Like, you know, people will be people.
Because somebody had a failed marriage doesn't take away the fact that there are several people that have good marriages. And let us also understand that the bad is easier to transfer than the good.
There's no stress in sharing the bad.
No this and no peace.
There's no stress in sharing the bad.
And I think that's why I try my best to mute as much content as I can mute. If I say anything I don't like, I mute, and I say mute things relating to this. Like, those are the type of things I do because I'm trying to protect my sanity. T for thanks. I love you so much. But
the kind of mentality that we have because of social media.
God bless you. Like, if let's people say like you send me some and I'm like, I'm not interested in looking at this. Like, I probably don't have any 2 cents to give you. Sorry, dear, but it's not my cup of tea. I can't help it. Like, so there is that, and I wanted to say another thing as well. And one of the things that I also learned over time, like evolving, is choosing myself. And this relates to family and friends. Yeah,
please explain.
Because coming from a firstborn.
So we're going into that firstborn conversation, right? Daughter conversation.
Firstborn daughter. You know, you get into that space of being parentified. I don't know if that's the right
word. The small mommy.
Exactly. A lot of times, so I think maybe I've prided myself in it. But right now, sorry, dears.
I still feel that way.
I'm a baby girl for life.
And it kind of, I pride myself like not having expectation. Yeah. But I feel like my upbringing have kind of made me put myself on the line for others. Yeah. So I'm kind of hurt. Yeah. When people I put myself on the line for are literally not sending me, or they are struggling with helping me. Like, for instance, my siblings, that I wouldn't think twice to say I am breaking a leg for, and then like, it's now their turn to break a leg for me, and they are thinking,
and they are having to think about it.
They are shaking. Should I get? So I had to heal from that. See, it was your choice. To break a leg for them. So if they are not returning the favor, can you kindly move on? It was a painful reality,
and it's something that you'd have to at the end of the day let go.
Because they tell you to lead by example, and people you are supposed to lead by example are literally choosing themselves first.
Exactly. So,
and you are like, you know, imagine that a family of 5, including the mom and dad, or a family of 6, including the mom and dad. And then the parents were able to send the firstborn to Max Polytechnic. And that firstborn girl did her best, did her HND, and then, had side hustle. Firstborn girls, most times, they're always very good. I don't use the word hustlers, but they are very business-centric, income-centric. So you see that scenario of that woman literally maybe not getting married early, or not, achieving some milestones in life just because of her siblings. So she's doing a job and she's sponsoring 3 other siblings.
And it's crazy.
It's crazy. And then she's like literally putting her life on a stop. She could be putting marriage on a hold because she wants to fulfill that obligation, that, pass on that torch, basically. Yeah. And then those people go ahead.
And they move
and
on.
They sincerely do not look back.
Yeah.
Like,
you did what you wanted to do.
You did what you wanted to do, right?
I didn't put a gun to your head.
But, that's like the Disney of the firstborn. I feel like, I know that sons too do that. But women, I don't know. It's almost looking like...
it's also the emotional...
The nurturing.
Yes.
And then I feel like, firstborn daughters, imagine that you're a woman and you are nurturing. Imagine that you're a woman, you're a firstborn daughter, and then because you're a woman, you have the ability to nurture, and then you are now given that responsibility of leading by example. I know that, our parents...
It's a lot.
It's a lot, fam. It's a lot, fam. And, it's like, I remember then my father would say, you punish me for the misbehavior of my siblings, and I'm like, how am I responsible for someone's deliberate decision?
Exactly.
And you say I'm the one influencing them. I'm like,
influencing about every child has a mind of...
when you look at even sibling metrics, especially the first and second, you will see that the second usually imitates. And I would give some credit to them, because even me as a first daughter, I was a trouble, I used to instigate my sister to lie. And then I was a die-hard liar, because by the time they're already threatening with strokes of the kid, my sister don't cast. But me, I'm like, no, I didn't do it. Like, they're going to beat me. I was like, I didn't do it. So I was at die-hard. So I understand, like, place of maybe influence and stuff. But you still have to, like you said, allow that child
grow
and make everybody literally responsible for their... Let everybody be responsible for their growth. Don't say, if my sister misbehave or if my younger sibling misbehave, then I'm the one. Because that's how we begin to carry those burdens. It's like that thing I said before about us sanitizing structures. Like you said, it is good because we're all kids, and I'm like 5-year-old self. They're saying my 3-year-old sibling, I'm responsible. Okay, let's even raise it higher. Like 10-year-old, I'm responsible for my 8-year-old siblings.
Why? Not impossible.
And that's why they will say firstborn they beat. Because how do I maintain control over it?
Exactly.
Who fights? Do you understand?
And I think
there's a good side, and there's the...
now where I want to now come in. I think this now also transcends into romantic relationships and friendships.
That metric, mad. That metric you just gave. I think we've talked about it before, that a firstborn daughter marrying a lastborn son. A firstborn son marrying a lastborn daughter. I think sometimes when it's the male, they don't quickly see. Yeah. But when a firstborn daughter marries a lastborn son, it also depends on that family metric.
Yes, it depends on the metric. But most metrics, right, in the African
setting
is so different.
Lastborn children are either spoiled or they are left by themselves.
Yes, so they have
it's either of those two.
So a lot of times you might likely see them just do things as they want to,
and nobody's really looking at them.
But you will not see the firstborn child. They want to align.
Yeah, right? Alignment or order.
They want to align. They want to. They want to now say, oh, okay. Instead of you doing this thing, what exactly can we do? Like when you are trying to plan, strategize. That's easy because all their lives, they've been taught not to be impulsive.
Yeah, yes, you are told to be several steps ahead.
Exactly.
Of everyone else.
Which you now see those dynamics now play out, and it's funny.
Like they become the alpha females.
It's funny.
And then they now have the backing of a dad. Their dad is like their bestie. So you are like the best man in your life is also hyping you. Do it, girl. You can. So you are like alpha female. And like you said, so it takes a lot of unearthly fine-tune.
You have to fine-tune. Like you are actively seeking to be better, and there are some people that don't notice that it is from that place that's where everything
don't do analysis.
But you understand? Like me and Debs, we do this a lot of times. Like, we do mental checks of how we've improved in the past so time, right? And I think this allows us get into a space of, even when we still have like insecurities, was trying to be vulnerable, have things to sort out and the likes. Like, it makes it easier for us to also see that at least you're taking a step.
Yeah,
that's the major thing. Like, you're taking a step. Like, I tell people, like, if you know you have a lot of things to unpack, go for therapy. I'm sorry, dear. Like, go.
Even when it comes to Nigeria, we're beginning to talk a lot about therapy, but we have not started doing
it. Yes, like, take the
conversation has started,
and go, because a lot of things, and you realize that I even personally used to feel like that, even with people, right, that I listen more than I talk about things about me. That, like, and at times I feel like maybe there are some people that you can't just understand.
So on the brighter side, and something you do, I want to cast you. Firstborn, they are in some family scenarios. There was one man, he was even at the singles fellowship. Okay. So he talks about how when he was the firstborn son, and then all the time when he was single, his brothers lived with him. Okay. So he literally didn't do anything. He didn't cook, he didn't do laundry, he provided money and everything was done. So they were providers and then resource allocators. So there's another part of that firstborn thing that, you think that you don't do anything.
They send people message.
Fire. That's where I'm going to. At the day bus stop here.
They send people message.
So, sometimes that's the humble pie that they now...
A lot of times, right, I feel we meet. Me and my siblings, we meet. Because they also send me a message. Right? Because there are times that they will just call me, especially my brother. If he's in the house, he will text me, please, can you buy this thing when you're coming back home? Please, can you do this when you're coming back home? Oh, but a lot of times, right, there are things I'm in the house before I left. Like, you don't understand. I was in the house. I did not plan that we'll pass that route.
But because of them, I will go pass
that route. Or, can you drop me here? Can you do this one there? You see that the people that were doing for years, they are not talking again.
Wait, no, but there's one.
You see, they are not talking again.
But there are some parts that like we give vibe of our parents. Like, you literally call someone and say about more remote thing. You do.
I do it twice to call.
That's painful one.
See, let me not even lie. I used to call because I'm a room body. So a lot of times, once I've already gotten into that space of being in my bed,
literally be
I
carried.
will call. My brother has suffered from it.
There's one guy that said there's a meeting in my bed, and he meant something else. But for Fire, there's literally a meeting in her bed. Like, she's literally
joke with it.
You're literally doing everything.
Yes.
Fire business meetings.
You see, I feel like we meet. Why do
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from.
A lot of times, right, things that my siblings, I doubt they rarely go out on errands, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of errands.
Now me, like, even them, they add to the errand. Like, do you know how funny it is that your parents are sending you to buy something? They will come. Please, since you are doing this thing, Abi, help me buy, let me buy that. And I'm like, excuse me. So I feel like we match, but we have our different areas where we match. I don't like to iron clothes. I always beg my younger brother, excuse me, sir, wink wink.
That wink for me.
Could you kindly, that's true, I even have clothes to iron. Now wink wink. Now please, could you kindly assist your baby girl? So, of course, like, every part comes with their pros and cons, but a lot of times I feel like for every firstborn daughter, you have a lot to unpack. Because if you are not careful, it would go into your romantic relationship and even how you deal with your friends.
You're right about the romantic relationship thing. I think that's why some firstborn daughters become women of means.
Yeah.
So when they meet a man who is starting up with life, they think support is rushing that person with funds, like, let me support with my funds. So it's like we're helping without knowledge.
Yeah.
You've not waited to see how this person treats money.
Yes.
but you're already giving them 1 million. You're always ready to help.
Always ready
so they
to
end
help.
up meet men who see that this woman's energy is on a high. So why am I trying to meet up with her energy? Let me just stay mid. I'm collecting money and then most of them begin to drop the ball. And you're like, why am I meeting this kind of men? So like you said, and it's not even just a firstborn daughter. Like we need to begin to unpack patterns. Like, okay, why am I really attracting this kind of men? It's like I come out too soon to say this is what I can do. So they relax. Yeah. Like you don't even allow a man prove himself. Mm-hmm. So how would you even know he's for you? Yeah. And most of the time he gets to a bad situation before they realize that,
Another thing is that even with friends, right? I've started learning not to go out of my way for people so much. Like it's not a bad thing, but I'm beginning to find the balance. Like imagine I remember your birthday, you don't remember my birthday. It must be meant. Excuse me. I don't get it. Me that you feel be my friend. I don't already plan for you. Like I'm not saying that I do things for people based on you doing things
back.
For me, but
you
intentionality requires work, right?
Yeah.
Friendship requires intentionality. And if you really want to put people on that pedestal, like place them there and let them know. Like, you know how I place you. I don't hide it. I say it all the time. Even with people that are around me, they know
and you know it's how we place people that even when they say Yoruba say like it's how you hype something. People like people see that person in that based light. On how you hype that person. Let me now
say something, right? You also enjoy favors
because of how that person
place you.
Yes,
a lot of things you enjoy. Based on association, and because someone has said, this person, brotherhood we saw the other time, the other time that where the guy was like, now my guy, and that it was the referral of that experience. He didn't need to do a background check because someone has already put word for him. Yes. Me, when I meet people that don't value relationships, I feel like they will learn the hard way.
Sure.
Like.
Some have a long group.
True.
Some have a long group. True. Like before they learn the hard way.
Grace is sufficient for us all.
We said it that in life you can't do carryovers. You can't carry over.
Well, you go learn now.
You will learn it one way
or the other.
See, that is you will learn it one way or the other.
You learn it the simple way
or the hard way. So you learn it one way or the other.
Struggle,
And that hard way, simple way or the hard way is that there are some things that God tries to teach us in seclusion.
Yeah.
That when we're now in the limelight, people discovering that we did not even pass that class will be such an embarrassment. You understand? So when you say you learn
I agree.
One way or the other, you are very, very right. And I wanted to now talk about another thing that firstborn daughters face.
Okay, I'm listening.
We find it hard to ask for help.
Yes.
We find it hard to ask for help.
Yes.
It's one of the things I struggle with.
Yes.
I still struggle with.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I'm going through a lot. You two are going through a lot. Why should I add my a lot to your a lot? But it's also a weakness. It comes as a strength but it's a weakness. It's a weakness because we're not enjoying the resources of the people God has placed in our midst.
Miss out on certain things.
Yeah.
But also, maybe because me and you are also firstborn daughters.
Is weakness pride in some points? Like you pride, don't, cause vulnerability.
Pride, girl.
Before you ask for help, asking for help is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And also, we
acknowledging that
help from.
Yes.
Acknowledging that you are weak.
That
moment is crazy. It's
especially when you are seen as someone who is always known to have the resources.
Yeah.
Advice, you are the one.
Yes.
This thing, you are the one. So
you don't hear me when I said that. I listen more than
yes, because you take in and even that listen more than you talk to is also a last-born trait because last-born sometimes are not allowed to talk a lot. So they see the loopholes, but you don't allow them say these are the loopholes. Yeah. Like waiting, but they see like the corner. So I digress. So you are right. Like we take on a lot, and it's one thing I'm learning that not asking for help is a form of pride.
Yeah, it is.
Because like you said earlier, we're not an island.
It is a form of pride. Me, a lot of times, like
it's crazy.
The ask for help, I always fall on. It limits family. It's just the 4 walls of family. And when I mean family, like I mean like nuclear family. It takes the grace, Because I never want somebody to tell me it's because of God. Like, the bill in my head. You know, when it just sounds, because you know some people want more also.
True.
Like, they don't know how to talk. So you just find yourself in a space of, na me mess up. Na me.
You know, that it's not, we're not going to be asked for help from everybody, but I get where you're coming
You
from.
know, it's also funny that even with some friends, like,
Okay.
see, me, I've never really been in that
Space?
because I don't really talk to friends like that. Like, I talk to you, but I still feel like even with friends, a lot of things I say to people is surface level.
I say, when it comes to friendships, I always say something that, you know, there are friends who have become sisters.
True.
And one of the reasons, how did we get to sisterhood?
Yeah.
Friendship was tested.
Yes, I agree.
So when a form of testing, because with a form of testing comes vulnerability.
Yeah.
So it's like, I need to dear Jamie.
Yeah.
So with those kind of friends, you don't fight to break up.
No.
You might not be in talking terms with them for months.
Yeah.
Where you're like, don't mind that person. She's
Yeah.
not alright, but we'll talk.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and that's why it might be that it's a surface level until some friendships pass some tests.
That's
You
when
know, then you now say,
now.
you're my sister.
Yes.
Like, sister from another mother,
Yes,
you know,
that is
literally.
it.
And
That's
even
it.
at that level too, like you said, we keep
Yes, because
unveiling.
at times I think about it that how many people do I really share my fears to? I feel like it's quite limited, and I'm somebody that is known to have a lot of people around me, right? But I still strongly
and that's the
feel-
scam of it all.
Debs always says it that.
Scam, nigga boy.
Please say it.
Even including myself. Anyways.
Please say it.
Which one?
The fact that she's always saying that you see fire has a lot of people she's talking to.
Fire is a social prefect.
But what's what, even with everything. But I just feel like it takes time. I can count people that know like serious situations in my life.
Yeah, when you're really going through the heat.
It's not even that, like, you know, there's some very important this thing that normally some people be like, you should have shared it, right?
Yeah.
But me too, I'm that person that is dependent on how you ask me. is highly dependent on how you ask me. And if I get to that point of you're asking me and I've repeatedly told you something and you ask, I'll not tell you.
You know, you
trust
you
me.
lock up.
Even if it has gone to a point where I can share it with you, I will never share it with you. You might probably find it out from another person.
And then you'll be hurt.
And when I'll be like, I even thought I told you. Might be no. Like, and we'll move on. Honestly, like, we'll move on. So yeah, so that's it.
This conversation is inexhaustive.
Growth is mad beautiful. Please, let's
It's beautiful.
grow. And I think I want to say something, and
Okay.
particularly to Christians, right? That I think it's very important we begin to understand that because we have Christ doesn't necessarily mean we won't go through stuff. You know, some people have this prosperity gospel.
No, even in
Like,
evangelism,
yeah.
growing up, I used to hear like, you know, even when you come to Christ, your troubles end.
Yes, I do understand. But the truth is, to an extent, your troubles end. I think it's a trouble of the gap in your mind. So now that has now been enclosed by Christ.
Christ,
right?
yeah.
And you now find your identity in Christ. So finding the identity in Christ, one of the good things is that you know that certain things you begin to say to yourself revolves around me. Now, I was telling somebody one time, I was like, some of the things I say to you people, like, you know, all these jokes that if somebody around wasn't a Christian, or like somebody might think I'm not a Christian, like, you know, I don't know how to explain. It's like, you know, all this banter.
Yeah.
I was like, the only reason why I can share banter with
'Cause
you
you know
people
me.
like this is that you people know my faith.
Yeah.
That is the only reason. Aside,
I said that a lot. We talk about that a lot.
if that's not the case, trust me, you guys will have no idea that I can banter like this.
Yeah.
Come on, that's it, Sha. God help
Thank
us. So
you.
Christians, like Debs will also say, like, you are in the business of infiltrating, not contamination.
Yeah.
That's it.
Infiltration without contamination.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we move to the nugget and it says, now, thank God we're doing Psalms. Psalms 139 verse 14 says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Period.
Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. Thank you so much. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. And then the products, the proof of a product, it's like the iPhone 1, iPhone 2, and all the it's an upgrade. So my soul, like, he knows.
I love it.
Yeah, praise because I'm fearful. The thing that the iPhone 13 is inside me.
Yes,
my Pro Max is inside me, and God has placed it that.
Step by step.
Yeah.
Your mama Wale, that lady that every end of the year she's always stepping into
Who's
that meme. That woman that is always stepping. Anytime it's December 31st.
I can't remember.
That she'll be carrying bag.
No,
that cartoon that was entering into the new year.
Okay.
That she's wearing heels. She'll be on steps. You know it.
Maybe I've not remembered.
Yes. What came to my mind with that is that, like, instead, like, you are not stepping down.
You're going up. Yeah. Oh shit! RT.
Period.
On this note,
we say, oh double.
Oh double.
Bye.
Bye, guys.